Have you tried Anchor FM yet? What are you waiting for? Anchor is the only platform that includes all the tools that you need to launch your podcast instantly, including monetization. That's right. Start making money right now. Record, edit, distribute, and earn, all right from your Anchor FM dashboard. It's time to set sail on that podcast that you've been dreaming of making. Just don't forget your Anchor. Anchor FM, the easiest way to make a podcast ever.
There's a speed limit in this state, Mr. Neff. 45 miles an hour.
How fast was I going, officer?
I'd say around 90.
But what about us?
Memories. You're talking about memories.
Good, I'll have a drink.
I don't want anything of his or any part of it.
Except his life.
I wonder if I know what you mean.
I wonder if you wonder. Played it for her, you played it for me. I lived a few weeks while she loved me. Waiting for a lady. Someday you'll understand that.
Got some news that's gonna take a lot of tension off you and Laura.
Stop it, Dix! I can't take any more of this!
I should be in it for him.
You know the story?
What story?
Maybe because he was drunk.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life. Well, I'll give her the message. But they're asleep all over America.
Welcome to the Speakeasy Noir Cast, a podcast discussing film noirs of yesterday and neo-noirs of today. Each week, we will deliver a discussion and analysis of classic and neo-noir films, all mixed in with our unintelligible banter. Your hosts for the show, Carly Street and Jason D. Morris. All right, well, Carly's sick again, and I'm, sure to be soon as well. As is the whole world. Hopefully we survive.
Well, I've done quite well because I haven't been sick through the entire pandemic until now, when I have a cold that will not go away.
Yeah. But anyway, I hope everybody stays safe and healthy regardless. And, we'll get through this eventually. But, all right. Well, enough COVID talk, enough depressing bullshit. Let's get into tonight's drink, which is not going to give away the film and really has nothing to do with the film other than who our lead actor is. And this drink is called Waltzing with Vincent. This happens to be his favorite drink.
Oh.
Supposedly, I mean that's the rumor. And it is, I'm guessing someone at some point named it after him, or he created it and named it himself. And if you're wondering who he is, that would be Vincent Price. And the drink is a spritzy fall aperitif made with Applejack brandy, apple cider, lemon juice, simple syrup, and Prosecco, which I believe Carly dislikes Prosecco.
Yeah, I'm not really keen on Prosecco.
Yeah, which is interesting.
It's interesting because it's quite cheap everywhere over here. And I still can't even drink it, knowing that it's cheap.
That's funny. She goes for the cheap stuff. I guess so. You drink Bud, Coors.
Hey, Coors is
for
not
American
cheap.
beer, it's the worst.
Coors is not cheap.
It is here.
Damn it, I need it.
Cheaper side.
That's worth the reason to move just for that. Cheap Coors. Less pleased. I'll have a visa.
Yeah, it doesn't explain exactly how to make it, but there's the ingredients, and I guess you just kind of throw it into a glass and see how it goes. I'm not sure how much of each, but I'd probably go with an ounce of brandy. So we hope you guys enjoy your Waltzing with Vincent, and drink along with us as we discuss this film. Here's the trailer for the 1946 film Shock.
Hello, this is Mrs. Stewart. Did my husband come in?
no, thank you.
I'm Dr. Cross, Mrs. Stewart. I'm your friend. I'm here to help you. This delusion is quite common among mental cases in an institution of this sort.
Are you trying to tell me my wife is out of her mind?
I'm going to try to find something that will convince her that she's insane.
You don't understand. There's nothing the matter with me. I want the police. That doctor's a murderer.
You go back to bed and we'll call him.
Don't talk to me as if I were crazy. I'm telling you the truth.
Which is like the most important part of the show, I think. So Carly, before we get any further, here's your dramatic piano. And now it's time for Carly's super famous in a nutshell synopsis.
Always makes me laugh. Okay. A cautionary tale of how events can take a sinister turn when Vincent Price and his lunatic lover are left in charge of an asylum.
Okay.
Do you like that?
Yeah, I mean that works. Is it I guess it kind of is yeah, I don't know. I guess when I was watching it, I was looking at it more like a hospital, but it's not. It is an asylum.
Yeah, I couldn't quite figure out if it was like a posh asylum. Is that what a sanitarium is?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Because he does go around and at that one point where he's trying to convince the husband, that she's crazy. So he goes around and talks to the other people who are crazy. So yeah, I guess it is a mental institute of some sort. Now, I couldn't find a whole lot of, information on this film. I get the feeling it sort of came and went in the theater when it was released. However, I did find a interesting review, and this is from a reviewer named Bosley Crowther of the New York Times, and he was particularly offended with the film. And after obviously today's day and age is a little different. Not that it's any less important, but I guess it's not as new as it was when this film came out. And obviously today we call it PTSD, and I guess back then they might have called it shock, or at least that was one of the terms or one of the issues that soldiers were coming back from in the war, was with shock. And this particular reviewer took great offense to the movie, basically disliking the fact that they, made a film, about this, and that it was, I don't know if it was just he felt that they did it in an irresponsible way, or the fact that it was a horror movie, or what exactly it was, per se, but he just, he felt that it showed like the doctors that were trying to treat people with this, putting them in a bad light was sort of irresponsible.
Well, you can understand how it might make people scared to go in somewhere like that if they don't understand the treatments and things that they're suggesting, because that was what he banked on, wasn't it? That the husband and sort of stuff wouldn't really know and just blindly listen to him.
I just look at him like he's a bad guy, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the idea of treatment is bad.
Oh, no.
Or any of that. So yeah, I think that review was sort of eye-opening for me, because I never even thought of that as being a thing. And this particular reviewer really slammed the film because of it. Others were, nicer about it and thought that it was a pretty good thriller, pun intended. But considered it a B movie, a minor noir, I guess. So I don't know. It seemed like it had a bit of a mixed response.
Maybe it was just a controversial topic at the time.
I would assume so, yeah. I mean, I guess it's kind of like equivalent to Netflix and that movie. What is it, Cooties? Or I don't know. You know what I'm talking about?
No, isn't that poo? When you
Isn't
say
that what?
When you say cooties, isn't that like? Doesn't that mean like poo? No.
No.
Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
I think I need a translator now for this. I feel like I've stumped you.
No, I'm looking up the movie because I want to know the title now. But I'm not sure if I can find it because I'm not sure how to search for a movie that I don't know the title for. Cuties. That's what it is. Cuties.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh.
How did you not get that, knowing that I'm talking about Netflix and then people are outraged about a movie?
Because I live in a hole and I don't have Netflix because they don't stream anything that I find enjoyable, generally.
Well,
I'm Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon Prime through and through.
All right. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know why I have Netflix still either. I haven't watched it in I don't know how long. Actually, I take that back. I am watching Cobra Kai with Shawnee, and I am enjoying that quite a bit, even though that came from YouTube. So I'm not sure that counts.
Yeah. I used to have like saved watch lists and stuff, and then I'd make the mistake of watching one really crap film, and then all it would be my lists would just be more crap films.
Oh, so it just started filling up with asylum movies?
Hey. They're not Prime.
Low blow.
And they're on Prime, so $7.99 a month. I can watch as many Sharknadoes as I like.
They're having a hard time giving them away, so they got to put them on Prime.
Your point is?
Did you see the news? I'm not sure where this was at, but after the hurricane, apparently there are sharks stuck in a telephone pole or some sort of light pole, and the workers are trying to get them out. You thought that they were stupid for years. Actually, I think you'll find that they are the true geniuses of us all. I'm not 100% sure if it's fake or if it was real, but it just cracked me up. So funny.
I hope that there's no sharks like stuck on telephone poles because that wouldn't be pleasant for the sharks. But at the same time, I kind of wanted to.
No, it from the image, it did look like they were. I mean, there were definitely sharks. I don't know if it's Photoshopped, real, fake, whatever. Maybe it was even a scene from Sharknado. I don't fucking know because I've never seen them, but. You could see clearly at least two sharks that are like stuck in this pole because of the wires and whatever.
Well, that's a reason to watch Sharknado, isn't it? To see if you can see that fake news.
No, it's not. Sorry. I'm sorry. I know. The guy's from my hometown, but I don't give a shit. That was such a bad movie. But yeah, I don't know. How did we get on sharks anyway?
I don't know. It all seems to revolve around sharks at the minute.
All right. Well, so getting into this movie, it starts out normal enough. Well, I wouldn't say normal enough. What is she? I don't understand. She made a reservation. Okay, so our lead character not a lead character, sort of lead co-star. I don't know what you would call her. Anyway. This woman makes a reservation supposedly for a hotel. She gets there and they said they never got the call. They never reserved her a room and they're all booked up for the night. So they start off right at the bat trying to make her crazy.
Yeah.
I guess.
However, the nicest man ever suddenly magically finds her a room. So was he lying all along?
Right. Yeah, I didn't understand that either. They obviously had a room.
Yeah.
Open because they knew that the guest wasn't showing up till tomorrow. So I don't know how that all works. I mean, in 1946, but I guess, yeah.
Maybe they didn't trust her to leave in time.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the other guests reserved it for that day as well. And, it was known that they wouldn't show up till like no, because it said that you have to be out by 12 or something like that. So I don't know. It didn't make any sense, but whatever. Hotels don't make any sense. They get over on people all the time. So I guess that's on par. So anyways, they find her a room And she gives her a little sob story about waiting for her husband, and this is the only place that he knows that she'll be at, or some craziness like that. I suppose because she already told him that he booked the hotel, or this. I don't know. It was a little not convoluted, but lack of detail.
Yeah.
In terms of that, but she goes up to her room and settles in and whatnot. And while she's there, she notices some commotion across the way. I guess in this motel or hotel, you can see across to the other rooms, and
not good on privacy, is it?
Not really. I mean, they do have curtains, unlike the motel room in Touch of Evil. But she witnesses this man having an argument with a woman. And from what I remember, we never even see his wife at the time.
Not really.
Which is odd later on to me, because he shows her a newspaper with a picture of her, and I wouldn't expect her to know what she looked like. But anyway, I guess it has her name and his last name, and I'm not sure why she would even know his last name, because from this point on, she is comatose, more or less. So that was another little plot point that I didn't quite think worked, but whatever. So she sees this murder, and for some reason it's not exactly a brutal murder or a bloody murder.
It's like an impulse smash, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more like oh damn, did I just do that? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, you're dead.
What?
Shit.
Yeah.
It was just sort of like they're getting an argument. He grabs a candlestick, and off screen, you don't even see it, hits her in the head, and it's implied that she's killed, and he casually closes the window blinds or the curtains. And this puts her into such a shock that she becomes unresponsive and comatose. And her husband shows up in the lobby downstairs the next morning and, asks to, what room she's in, all that kind of stuff. And he gets up there and finds her in this state of shock with her eyes wide open, still staring out the window, which I don't. Another weird thing, I'm not sure if is that what people do when they go into shock or whatever? They continue to stare at the thing willingly that put them in shock, or have their eyes glazed over so much they can't even see past their retinas. I'm not really sure what the deal with that is, but she's still sitting there on the couch staring out the window. So I thought that was interesting. And so obviously the husband is like, well, this isn't normal. We need to call a doctor. And don't know, I guess this isn't like common anymore, but I guess back in the day, and I've seen this in a few other movies, I guess there's on-site doctors for hotels.
That's what it seems, isn't it? It always seems like there's some sort of like on-site medical team, or at least a minimum a doctor.
Right. Yeah. It's just odd. I don't know. I've only seen that in movies. I've never heard of that being a thing. And then there's an on-site psychologist, or whatever he is, a psychotherapist, which
evil
is
madman.
Vincent Price's character.
It's an on-site evil madman. Let's phone him.
Is he split his time between the asylum and the hotel, or was he just staying there for some reason, even though it's, he lives nearby or works nearby? Like I was a little confused on that aspect. Does he live at the hotel? Which is a possibility.
No, I don't. It seemed to me like they'd sort of booked some sort of like, or she tried to surprise him or something, and then the other bloke just rang him because he knew that he was good. He had a specialty in that. But then I'm not sure where he rang to get him to come over so fast. If he rang the...
Right. Would he have known...
Yeah, like the office, and then they relayed a message or something. I'm not too sure.
He was at the hotel, obviously, so he had to have called like the front desk, or known that he was in that hotel room and called that hotel room, right?
Yeah, unless they didn't know his wife was there.
So are you saying that his wife was there, maybe, I don't know, for some reason, like cheating on him, and he caught her?
No.
And that's why he was there? What are you trying? I'm confused now. Explain yourself, woman.
I was trying to answer your damn question of why they were in the hotel.
I know, but what was your reasoning? I'm confused.
That maybe she was trying to surprise him with like a getaway or something like that.
She who?
His wife.
Vincent Price's wife?
Yes, the one he murdered.
Surprise him with what? Where are you drawing this from?
I don't know.
I don't even see the woman.
It might be nice for, I don't know, to like, let's have a nice night in a posh hotel.
You're writing a completely different script here. I don't know what you're talking about. We don't even see this woman.
Well, he clearly killed his wife in the room, didn't he? Because that's the whole point of what the story.
Yes. Yeah, he did. But I don't know.
Let's just say
maybe you're right.
They were all there.
Maybe she surprised him and then he killed her because
she took him by surprise, so he hit her with a candlestick.
I guess so. He does. Vincent Price does not like surprises.
He does not.
So yeah, that happens.
So hey, Carly, let's take a break real quick and talk to our listeners about our sponsors. All right, guys, we're back and we're going to keep talking about this film.
And so anyway, the doctor, the house doctor, calls Vincent Price's character over to the room because he's a specialist and he's seen these kinds of things before. And it doesn't take him long to pick up on the fact that she probably saw him murder his wife because he can clearly see outside the window that it's his room across the way, which I don't know if you've ever been to a hotel. It's a little convoluted. I mean, as far as like what you can see and what you can't, but I guess he knows that that particular room is his for some reason. And he puts two and two together and deduces that she saw him murder his wife. And so he instantly decides he's got to take care of the situation, whatever it might be. So I guess he's pretty straightforward with the fact that she is in shock because she is, but decides to convince the doctor and I guess the husband that she needs to come to his asylum and be treated, which is the only, I guess the only thing he can do other than just sort of, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with her. See you guys later.
Yes,
and I guess
bye.
Be worried that she comes to and tells the whole story, even though she has no idea who he is or any of that.
Did he leave his dead wife at the lodge?
No idea.
All the time while he was trying to convince her that she was insane? No
idea. I do know later on they say that she was found off of a cliff.
Yeah, but in the newspaper, there was like a 3-day search as well, but nobody seemed that bothered that like they were searching for his wife. He just went on his business as normal. Or maybe that was part of it.
Yeah, well, in actuality, they didn't actually show him in between those points.
No, true.
He wasn't on screen. From the time where he is at the hotel room with the woman and convinces everybody that she needs to go to the asylum, we don't see him again until the scene where he has the newspaper. And I don't think so anyway. But yeah, nobody at all seems concerned at all about her death or being missing or any of that stuff. And there's no police involvement in this movie. So we don't see the other side of it. We don't see the search. We don't see the finding of the body or any of that kind of stuff. And I'm sure it's, all budgetary because this is essentially a one-room film. So you got your hotel room and you got the asylum room, and that's pretty much it for the movie. So it was a little surprising. He shows the newspaper to her, and this is the first time we really see her face and her name. And I thought it was a little implausible that this woman recognizes and knows who she is really, instantly, and because she's never actually seen her before. But it's a movie, and he does explain it to her. But and she also recognizes him, which I'm not sure that. I don't know. I guess she definitely saw him through the window and whatnot. But if you're in that great shock and you've seen somebody one time, I don't know. Sometimes these movies get a little.
She's heard his voice though, so maybe it's his voice. More
Could
than
be. He does have a distinct voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be. I do think some of these movies get a little overblown. I don't think people can. I know that there's like this theory that people can recognize people better than they think they can, sort of thing. But maybe it's just me because I can't. I just maybe it's just because I don't like people.
So if you witness a murder, basically as soon as you blink, all the evidence is gone. Yeah.
There ain't nobody getting caught if I witness a murder, because not because that's what I want, but because I'm just like, he was tall. No, wait, he was short. No, he had brown. No, he had blonde.
It could have been a woman.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd be terrible at that. Oh. Yeah. But I don't know. I think there's just a lot of little clues in the movie, or little plot points in the movie, that I wouldn't call them forced, because they're not really forced. They're just sort of not, I guess, completely likely to happen.
Coincidental.
Yeah, I mean, coincidental, yeah, is a way to put it. But I mean, it's just something that, like, I don't think people in general are really that good at that sort of thing. Like, I just don't think that he would have put together that his room was right across the hall. I mean, unless he didn't already know that kind of thing, like just by looking out the window, because all the hotel rooms look the same outside the window. How does he know that that's the room right across the way? And when you're in a hotel hallway and whatnot, it's really hard to kind of differentiate where you are opposed to where you are outside. It doesn't look the same. It's hard to tell.
I did get a little confused about why Elaine sort of butted in, because she really didn't need to sort of like drive him insane by telling him to do this ridiculous plot. The wife was dead.
You're talking about the nurse?
Yeah, the wife was dead. If they wanted to just get married, then it would have been okay. Because like he kept saying, why didn't I just phone the police? It was an accident.
I mean, that's sort of like the...
I can kind of get that he was afraid of going to prison or the manslaughter charge or whatever. But that little nurse Elaine, she was pretty sadistic. She was always like on his shoulder, sort of whispering in his ear, just things. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? To go, murderer. It's all right. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and I find that in a lot of these noir films, that the man is weaker than the woman in terms of like their resolve about this stuff, and can easily be manipulated. And there's actually a good line in another film that we're watching, Fear in the Night, where a character says something along the lines like, "Oh, he was testing your willpower." And that's kind of what I feel like a lot of the femme fatales in these films are doing, is it's manipulation, And the thing is, if he did marry her, that would put suspicion on him anyway. Cause that would, she's only been missing for 3 days or whatever it was. How quickly is that really supposed to happen without drawing suspicion? I mean, you need to wait like a year, to kind of be safe, if ever at all. So I don't know. I mean, I get that. But I don't buy the fact that it was all her, because he comes up with this idea early on in the hotel room, to take her back to the asylum. So obviously he's already trying to cover it up for whatever reason.
And it's his idea to give her insulin shock treatment. He's maybe I could overdose her. And she's like, yes. And he's like, oh no, couldn't do that.
Yeah, and I mean that's so I mean, she had some manipulation tactics going on in the movie, but he already had started that process. He was already running full speed downhill, and there was no coming back from that. Once you already engage into that sort of, I mean, that's illegal activity, I guess, covering up a murder. There's really no coming back, unless, I mean, you could take it further and he could have killed her. And he's got 2 murders on his hand, but there's really nothing else that he can do. So I think she, it's just a preservation thing. She's trying to keep him out of jail, I guess, at some point, because had he stopped doing what he was doing at that point, he's going to jail no matter what, whether it was an accident or not, because he's already tried to cover everything up.
Well, he'd driven her off to wherever and chucked her off the side of a mountain. So
yeah, and I'm wondering if that, it didn't really specify, was that a car crash or did he throw her off the side of the mountain? I mean, like, I wasn't really certain how that happened, because he's not driving 2 cars up to the mountain and getting back. So I'm assuming he just kind of threw her off the mountain, right?
Yeah, I assumed it was a car crash to begin with, but then afterwards, when he mentions the wound on the head, he specifically says that she banged her head on like a rock or something like that.
Which I find kind of odd, because, I mean, there'd probably be a lot of...
Surely that's no car.
Well, I mean, you bang your head in a car, I mean, if you're getting into a wreck, but if you did throw her off the cliff, I mean, I'm assuming that she's going to have a lot of bruises and bangs and stuff, right? So I always found that like I don't know, a little silly. I mean, I don't think there was any points to have to tell us that sort of thing, you know, because it's just an assumption, I guess. I don't know. If I fall off a cliff, I'm going to assume I'm going to have a lot of cuts and bruises and scrapes, and nobody's going to know where they came from. I feel like they would have had to have found the murder weapon, like known that this candlestick killed somebody.
Yeah. I like the DA, though, that was like, basically presented himself as like, oh, this has happened, and do you mind if we exhume the body? And he was like, no. And he just suddenly went, I don't really care. You can either let me do it or I'll get a court order. Yes, you go, man. He's like, frankly, I think it makes you a bit suspicious. You don't want to know who murdered your wife.
Well, I mean, and that's ultimately who catches him, right? Who like takes him into custody?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, Carly. I think, you know, it pretty much plays out as expected after that. I mean, there wasn't too many like twists and turns in this film. It was just pretty straightforward, I guess, after, I think, a bumpy start for me.
I quite liked it once they got into the asylum portion of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It was okay, I guess.
You don't seem overly
nothing really interesting. I'm not, because nothing really interesting happened. It was a lot of the same stuff over and over again. Her sort of waking up, freaking out, them drugging her, and her falling back asleep. And then just, you know, that was pretty much it. Like, I felt like it could have been cut down to like a half an hour movie. You know, there wasn't a whole lot going on. Once you get past the whole trying to convince the husband thing, because we don't see a whole lot.
Though, wasn't he? He didn't take a lot for him to go, she's clearly not insane. She's saying the same thing.
Yeah. I just, and I mean, it just felt like it was we should have seen what was going on with the cops, you know?
Yeah, that would have been interesting if anybody had suspicions about him.
Yeah. Or at least it should have been another plot point in the movie to keep to be cutting away from the asylum and doing other things, you know, to keep the interest of the film up is really what I feel like. So it just feels like there's like this missing sort of piece to the script, I guess. And maybe, you know, again, it'd just be budgetary, you know, I'm not really sure. So yeah, Carly, why don't we go ahead and give this film a rating, and I'm curious what you thought about it.
I'm going to give it like a 6, to be fair.
Oh, I don't know if that's fair. Is it?
Well, I don't know. Guess we'll see. We'll see what the internet thinks.
All right.
I enjoyed Vincent Price quite a lot. I always do enjoy him, and it wasn't fantastic overall, but I think it's worth a watch if you're a fan of him, or if you've seen any stuff. Yeah, I quite like Vincent Price. So I found his character and his character's unraveling quite good, and I was able to pass over other bits that weren't as good. So,
yeah, you know, speaking of Vincent Price, when we watched Laura, there was that scene in the film where they did this silhouette shot of him, and in my head, I was thinking that this looks like a homage to like Dracula or something. This was very early on in his career, so that wasn't even something that was possible. Mm-hmm. Secondly, I found out he never played Dracula. And for some reason in my head, I thought that he did, but he didn't. Like all of his other peers did. but he never played Dracula, not even once. So that was just something, I guess, in my head. That's weird. But there definitely is a scene where he's got like his jacket over his shoulders, and he's silhouetted and he comes to the door and it just, I don't know. It's a great image. But for some reason in my head, I was like, oh, they're kind of paying homage to him, playing Dracula or something. I don't know. But it's just all in my head. I'm crazy.
You in an asylum. It's Vincent Price drugging you.
I'm in shock.
Whenever you wake up, he just stabs you with some more insulin and tells you it's okay.
You saw nothing.
Go to sleep.
Yeah. Then he laughs at me. All right, fair enough. I give the movie a 5. I didn't not enjoy it. I just thought it was pretty bland. I didn't think that there was enough going on. I really think that we needed the police storyline included with this in order to really have it fleshed out. It would have made it more interesting. I think that it all being, I don't mind like one room stories. I think those are fine. But with this particular one, it got a little too repetitive with the waking up, more insulin, go back to sleep, waking up, more insulin, go back to sleep kind of thing. Yeah. Maybe they should have brought the husband in a little bit more, or, I mean, there's just certain things that they could have done, I guess, if they didn't want to have the police story in there. But it just felt like there was something very missing.
It might have been more interesting
not having the police story.
To see his experience with like shock syndrome from maybe people in his platoon or whatever, that, or his pals that have experienced it, and then him kind of like likening that to her situation or being afraid of certain things because of that. That might have been an interesting thing that I would have liked to have seen a bit more.
Yeah, and I think that would have been cool, like to see what he does. Yeah, that could have been interesting. They could even take it in a whole other way and have him sort of be a bit of a mad scientist, as he played that role later on in a lot of films, but and truly made him a bad guy. But I don't know. I think that would have been kind of interesting to explore that a little more. But as such, I mean, they didn't, and they didn't do a lot of things they could have, which I think is what sort of makes this movie fall into that sort of minor film noir, range of films. It's not bad. It's worth watching, but probably only once for most people, I guess. I mean, unless you really like Vincent Price, or you're really into those sort of asylum type storylines. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there was so much more they could have done with it. And I mean, I guess that's a good thing because it's not a flat out bad movie or anything. I think it's, for what's there, it's decently directed. The acting is good. It's a solid movie that just seems lacking in the script department. And again, it appears that it might just be a budgetary thing, not necessarily anything of the fault to the production itself, other than the initial pre-production side of things. So 5 out of 10. And would you say 6 out of 10?
6.
6. All right. So fairly low, but again, it's one of those weird films where even though we're scoring it low, I do think that it's worth watching.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, there you have it. Hope you enjoy your waltzing Vincent, waltzing with Vincent drink, and checking out this film if you're into these asylum type movies, or like Vincent Price. I would recommend at least watching it once.
Yep.
And seeing what you think. All right, guys, until next time.
Bye-bye.
He's looking at you, kid.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Speakeasy Noircast. Make sure to visit our website, resurrectionfilms.net, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or any of your favorite podcast apps so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like the show, you might want to check out our book, The Dark Side of Acting Up, and The Dark Side of Acting Up Volume 2, now available on Amazon. Or you can check out one of our films, also available on Amazon Prime. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode of the Speakeasy Noircast.